Welcome back to Keep Expecting Miracles. I am Ilissa.
And I'm Jessica.
Hi, guys. We're back with another episode. What's going on, Jessica?
A lot, but I'm well. There's a lot going on, a lot of different energies out there. How are you feeling?
Hmm. I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling in between.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of transitions coming up, and so I'm in that in between space. But
hmm
I feel like I have the energy for what's coming.
Good.
Hopefully, I keep the energy.
You will. You will.
Yes.
Keep calling it in and
Yeah, but what
grounding it
about
and
what about
carrying
you?
it.
I know you said you're feeling well, but what's the actual feelings? Because you can just say I'm well, but what is it
Yeah, I'm
really?
good. I'm well because I'm healthy. My body's doing well. I've
Yeah.
been having to process a lot of emotions,
Hmm.
a lot of different things. A lot of my life currently has a lot of uncertainties, a lot of I guess endings.
Hmm.
Um, and so I've had to, and then a lot of exciting things.
Hmm.
So it's like navigating between all of that, where like at one moment I'm up, then I'm down, then I'm up, then I'm down, then I'm like, oh shoot, there was a trigger. Oh shoot, but I'm actually fine. Oh, but remember, everything's gonna be okay. So,
Yeah, yeah. It's the in between
so
too. The in between.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
I can see that. I think that's what it is for a lot of people right now. Um, just with the energy that's out there. It's springtime. People know that something is happening. People can feel like there's changes coming, but they just are not sure. You either know or you don't know. You know that your life is
Mhm.
going to be different. Some people can feel like the grief from how things were before, what was going on in their life before. And I feel it when this is going to be a transparent moment, like when I look at specific friends and just a group of people that I've been friends with for quite some time. Like, I know that I'm different. I'm in a different space. And so I don't have the desire to do the same things anymore. And I'm like sad about that
Mm,
because it almost is like, okay, well, will I even want to be around these people? Like, will the people want to be around me? Will we even have the same? Obviously, our friendship is going to be different because we're older now. We're different, but like I can see it playing out, and I don't see me doing the same things that they're doing, and so that kind of makes me sad. Like, and I know I'm only going to be more different now. Like
mhm.
in the future, I know, like in the near future, and obviously the years to come, I'm gonna be way different. And so it's just kind of like looking back at the friendship and the activities and the trips, and it's like, oh, I miss that. I miss what we did and how I was. And so, but I'm also looking forward to what life brings for me, and for
Yeah.
for them too. So that is something that's been on my mind a lot. Like, and I think that happens a lot when you have children, when
Mhm.
you have different priorities, when you get married. Everybody has different responsibilities or in different life spaces. And so a lot of people might feel like, oh, I don't even hang out with my friends anymore, or I don't relate to these people anymore because I have different hobbies. Or But right now, for some reason, for me, that's amplified
Mm.
because I've always been the type of person, like, I don't have to live around my friends to, as soon as I see them, we're back, hanging out, we're doing we're but now it's like I know that that's how it will be if I see certain people,
Mhm.
but I don't even see space and opportunity for that to even happen. I think that's what's in my
Mm.
mind. It's just like I'm just not in the same place. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
look, well, every stage in life that we get to, it's like we do transform. We
Mhm.
do. And
Mhm.
I feel like it might be a not just a you thing,
Mhm.
that might be a collective feeling. So even
Yeah.
though, it's not being said by other people, that probably is a mutual feeling,
Mhm. Mhm.
which that doesn't make it any better. It
No,
doesn't
I
make it
think
any
it
easier. But
no, I think it makes you even more it makes me even more sad, like,
hmm
but
yeah.
it's okay. It was so crazy too, like, just to think about the changes that are coming. Um, Sarah had mentioned it on the podcast. Sarah Makiba Days had mentioned it on one of our previous episodes of how systems are gonna have to change.
hmm
Systems are falling, and how one of the major systems that is, I can see it happening, is our food and where we get our food from. We're going to have to be more reliant on our communities and ourselves to source our food. And I see it in real time. Like, we went into a certain grocery store, very prominent here in Florida. It starts with a P, ends with an X. We went in there on Sunday, and the produce section looked like it was just bare. You know how sometimes, like, maybe my eyes are different. Like, when I go to a market, when they have the vegetable tents, the produce tents are bountiful, vibrant, colorful, beautiful. Like, oh my gosh, this is so. When I go
hmm
to the grocery store, dead,
hmm
sad. The energy in that area is just sad, and it's just like, I don't even want that. Why are the blackberries buy one get one free? Did these sit in a warehouse for the past 2 weeks, and now you have to sell them to me on discount? I don't even want this.
Oh Lord.
And they had free samples for people
Oh
for the
wow.
blackberries. We did still get them because they're blackberries, but I won't get one free. I tried them,
hmm
but and so it just makes me think. Even when when we were by the onions, it was this lady. She had a mask on. There's people now wearing masks again.
Yeah.
More people,
Yeah.
but she had a mask on. She was just like, these onions look so sad. Look at them. They look terrible. And they literally were rotten. Like, all
Oh
of the
no.
onions were a dark yellow. Like,
Like
they
people not buying them.
they looked horrible. And I went over, the only onions that didn't look like that were the organic ones. And she's just like, I guess I need to buy the organic ones too, because these over here, they look rotten. They look sad. I don't want to buy. I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying those.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fact, I wouldn't even said anything if the lady didn't point it out to me. She was just like, look at these onions. And then going to the meat section, I'm like, I feel like the grocery store had more meat than this.
Mm.
I'm like, are people not buying meat? Like, why is the meat section so small? And why are there so little options? Why can I only buy a 20 pack of bone in thighs, and then the 4 pack is all boneless, skinless? Like, isn't that
Yeah.
weird?
Yes. Yes.
That's weird, right?
Yeah, I think so. I've always had a distaste for many different types of markets, supermarkets. I
Yeah.
like to stick to the like the smaller ones, like
Mhm.
in my area, Fancy Fruit is
Mhm.
one, but there's even when like Instacart and stuff came out and you were able to purchase your food and have it come to you.
Mhm.
The whole thing is for convenience. But I'm like, but I conveniently go to a lot of different places to purchase my food because I can't trust getting this from this place or getting that from that place.
It Well, the thing is too, is like, because we had just came back from a family activity, and I was like, okay, Donnell, let's just go to the grocery store now before we go home, because I don't want to get home and then not want to have to go back out.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I go to multiple grocery stores too. Sprouts, Publix. I'll get a Sprout order from Instacart. I'll get a Publix order from Instacart. As a family, we have the kids in the car. We don't want to go to multiple grocery stores
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah, you can't.
So, of course, the obvious choice is we thinking that Publix has more options, but when our cart is full of vegetables and has a little bit of other things, it's like, okay, no, we need to start going to Sprouts as our main place and Whole Foods as our main place
Mm-hmm.
instead of these other places, because
Mm-hmm.
the produce sucks, the meat suck. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to say it, but they do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Which
that's
is
a system
unfortunate.
that people. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, I just said it's unfortunate. I recognized something similar with Walmart at a time. And I had stopped going to Walmart, especially because they were selling, I don't know, maybe this is a weird thing, but they were selling these massive containers of strawberries. They were huge strawberries. Of course, they were for a good price. But then I was like, when they put on these strawberries,
Mhm.
what is in this?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
and then also the fruits and vegetables taste different. I know, like for the more local markets and like for Sprout, definitely, and Whole
Mhm.
Foods, they do connect with local
Local
farms.
farmers. Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
hmm which makes it, it's accessible, and it's also great that you're supporting somebody
You're
that
supporting.
is like in your state
Right.
for the
Right.
most
Well, and
part.
I remember one time I was in Sprouts in Phoenix. That's where Sprouts was started, in Phoenix, Arizona, and I was looking for cranberries specifically. And so I asked one of the people, I was like, "Oh, I want fresh cranberries. I wanted to juice them." And he
Hmm.
was just like, "Those are not in season. You won't be able to find those until it's closer to winter time."
Mm,
And I forgot, like, those specific grocery stores only sell fruits and vegetables that are in season because they
yeah.
buy local. Like, you're not gonna be able to find every single fruit or every single vegetable all the time. That's just not. Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. We have to
Yeah, and
get in that
we
mindset.
we've been trained to get anything we want whenever we want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What we should be eating in season.
Right.
I
Right.
tried that too. Like, or just thinking about that, I'm like, dang, like, what if I couldn't get my blueberries when I wanted them? Like,
Right.
I know no matter what, they're always going to have them. Are they always going to be plentiful? No,
Right.
but somebody's going to have them.
Yeah. Yeah. But to me, then they don't even taste good.
That's true.
They don't even. That's how it is
That
with
is true.
watermelon too. I don't eat watermelon unless it's the
That.
season because they
Oh,
just.
the seedless, the fact that seedless water, or
Oh,
excuse me,
girl,
watermelon with seeds is so hard to find. That's a whole
so
different
hard.
story.
That's just. Oh my goodness, that
I
is
can go
crazy.
to all the supermarkets that I go to and not find a
One with.
watermelon that
I
has
know.
seeds.
I know.
I have to go to the place down the street that's owned by a husband and wife, and they're only open 4 hours a day.
Hmm.
That's
Local
who I can go
people.
to get it.
Local
Yeah.
people. Yep. But that
Hmm.
is so. That's gonna be happening. Like, that system is gonna fall, and the people that I worry about are like the older people, or just people from our mom and dad generation that are still very heavily reliant on grocery store processed foods.
Hmm.
Food scarcity is going to be real.
Yeah, I think
It already is.
it already is, depending on the person. It may be the reality of some people. We just recently here in Orlando, the food bank, and I don't remember the name right now, but the one of the major food banks, they were not able to get a shipment last Friday. So all of these people usually come and drive through and get their food for the week, for free because they're not able to afford it. They were not able to get any food because funding was cut to their program. And so they couldn't afford getting the truck. They couldn't pay the truck to deliver the food.
Oh,
So then my question is like,
wow.
well, where did all that other food go? Where is it
Right.
going?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So I,
Yeah.
I know I feel for those people.
Yeah, that is. It's going to be happening even more. We have to, if you can, start a garden where you're at. Join a community garden. They have co-op farms. They have farms that you can buy shares into for the year. They will provide you with your fruits and vegetables for your family for the entire year. Um it just, we're going to have to be more self-reliant and operate more in community, because it's gonna get real. But we gotta move on. This is this is becoming a whole nother that was a check in. This is becoming a whole nother type of episode. But yeah, we wanted to continue our voice series in the power of our voice and specifically talk about how we the voice um dictates your life, and how it's connected to different parts of our body, specifically our lungs and our breath. We touched on that briefly in the last episode. Um, and
Yep.
I am learning about that coincidentally, not coincidentally, but magically, cosmically, spiritually in my spiritual herbalism class. We learned about the respiratory system, but in particular, how it's connected to our voice, via breath, and how, as a people, we carry the grief. We carry grief from our ancestors, and how that shows up and manifests in our body as lung issues, um, or not having a voice, asthma, bronchitis, um, feeling like you don't have a voice in whatever situation you're in is connected to your lungs and your breath. And um it really made me think about me having asthma as a child, and me having breath holding spells as a kid and as a baby into childhood, and where I would literally hold my breath, um and how that's also tied to fear, and um just how our body reacts.
Well,
um
that's to me that shows you like just the fact that the body would have those strong adverse reactions to not using the voice
mhm.
is like, well, dang, like what can my voice do? Because
Exactly.
if withholding it causes destruction within the body,
Mhm.
what can it do?
Right. 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 Well, and it's being a baby and a child, you don't come here knowing that, and so learning, like, we carry grief from past generations.
Hmm.
It's uncovering that, releasing that, healing that, so that you can use your voice is
Yeah.
exactly what we were talking about. And so just to learn that in the class after we recorded that last episode was just like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
So
so interested to find out more also about like the respiratory system,
mhm.
um, how what that connection is actually like. Because
Mhm.
both I told you that both of my kids have asthma,
Mhm.
and I mean, luckily it's not as bad. My brother had it bad. We were
Mhm.
always in and out the hospital with him,
Mhm.
but and so it's just like, well, as a kid, for your voice to be suppressed or for you to hold on to this um, suppression of voice from past family members, from ancestors, um, how do you let that out? What do you do? Like as a parent too, um,
Mhm.
that's something that I was, I've been wondering about. But you did a great earlier. You told me a great thing where you said that when your daughter was crying, for her to remind you, like if you tell her to stop crying, for her to remind you, I need to process this. I need to release my emotions.
Mhm.
So she
Mhm.
needs to cry. Crying uses the voice.
Yes.
She's making a noise with it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, because I don't we say like, oh, we want to. I say I know the type of mom that I want to be. I know I have in my head like, okay, this is how I want to raise my child, but unless I'm actively practicing that,
Hmm.
when those moments of comes up, like when I feel like the reason why she's crying is not valid for myself, and I'm just like, girl, let's get it together. I told her, in a clear conversation when we were both level headed, I said, if you are crying and you feel like you want to continue crying, don't let anybody tell you to stop crying. Even if it's me, even if it's your dad, no matter who it is, tell them I need to get my emotions out and continue crying. And she,
Right.
being the little girl that she is, the little strong-headed leader that she is, she makes sure I need to get my emotions out. Like, okay, I forgot I told you that. Thank you.
Mhm. Mhm. I love that. I love that. But see, that could easily be the opposite. It could easily be repressed. It could easily be,
Hmm.
if you don't stop crying, this is just
Right.
going to get a whole lot worse for you.
Yeah.
Or the, I'm feeling like this in this moment and I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this out of anger. And then the person that you're saying these things out of anger to never lets you forget it.
Yeah.
And now you're held into this space where you said these things or you let this noise out and it had this terrible negative effect on like everyone that was around you.
Hmm.
So there are ways to use the voice. There are ways in which we can manage it. Like we, it's literally our tool that we have to learn to manage
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
slay. I feel like we spend our whole life learning to manage it
Yeah.
because I feel like I definitely have been. I mean, obviously, I shared in the last episode that my voice has been suppressed,
Hmm.
and I always thought like, oh, I'm the one that suppressed it. I'm the one that chose to speak, that chose not to speak. But no, it wasn't just that. I just decided to keep quiet. I learned to be quiet.
Hmm.
I learned not to cry and
Hmm.
show everyone that I was upset.
Hmm.
I learned, not to do that stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and so even now with my daughter, she's so she's very emotional and she cries often or she complains often. Like there's
Mhm.
always a thing
Mhm.
that's going on. And so I'm like, okay, I have to tell myself, make space, make room, do not silence her.
Yeah.
Allow her to say what she needs. But then also in allowing that, I have to teach her this is how you say it
Right.
because you're not about to stand here and yell at me because I didn't let you do something.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's definitely um I've learned to, she's the type of my daughter's the type of person that she, even though she's upset, she still wants to talk through what she's upset about. So
Yeah.
if we let her cry and just try to ignore her, she's going to get even more mad. Like, she wants us to respond to what she's saying. And so I literally have to, okay, you're feeling this way. All right, well, let's figure out why you're feeling this way. Okay, let's talk through this. And then she feels better. Like, she wants you to talk through, help her get through what she's feeling and why she's feeling it, or how. So yeah, you do have to operate that within reason, because I'm not just gonna let you sit up here and act a fool.
Mhm. Mhm.
um but and then also too, we've started to say, like, okay, if you need time, if you feel like you want to cry for the next 30 minutes, how about let's take a break and let's go lay down. You can go to your room and cry if you
Mhm.
want to, and then you come back when you need to come back. Drink some
Yes. Oh my
water,
god.
take some space, take
Yes.
a moment, come back to because this area right now, we're having fun, we're doing this, or we're peaceful. If you want to let your emotions out, let I don't think that's out of reason to say that,
Yeah.
you
Go
know.
collect yourself somewhere else,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, go let the emotions out and come back
Mhm.
when you need to. We'll be fine, we're still all gonna be here. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's I'll be curious to see how she is when she gets older. Your daughter is going to be entering puberty soon,
She
so
already is.
yeah.
Already is in
Yeah.
the beginning stage.
Yeah, the pre-puberty. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and
Yes.
that's going to lead, cuz we wanted to talk about how it's the voice is connected to your womb too. That's going to
Yes.
be a whole nother thing.
Yes, returning to the body systems and how the suppression affects the body systems or the release um, enhances the body systems.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
think I did mention I did mention on the last episode that I have something called a uterine prolapse, and um, it's something that is only known about by medical professionals or people, maybe some mothers know about it. I was a mother once, didn't know about it until I had my second child.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
basically, the uterus is out of place. And so the last time I did, if you want to, definitely highly recommend that you guys go back and listen to that previous episode.
Oh,
I read
yes.
from a book, and that book described how basically, or helped me understand basically how it was the suppression of my voice and not letting my needs be heard, not
Mhm.
allowing myself to be heard, not fighting through other voices that tried to prevent me from being heard,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
allowed me to just continue sinking within myself. My light just began to dim. I was like a candle
Yeah.
with a cap on it, you know,
Yeah.
like the fire was going out.
Yeah.
And so um, the fire can go out. I feel like it's what's in my head is like as the fire goes out, it like leads to the end of your life. You
Mhm.
know, I really do feel like if I did not recover my voice, I was not going to be here for much longer.
Mhm.
And just because, you know, it affected my entire being, it enhanced depression. Because what when you're feeling
Mm.
depressed, who can you turn to? You can't even know.
Mhm.
Like there's no one I can go to.
Nope.
I can't. No one's gonna understand.
Nope.
You know, because
Yeah.
it's in with the practice of using your voice, you learn where to go, who's safe, who can I talk to you about this, what can I do here, in which ways can I let this out. But
Yes.
returning back to the body system, I can say now that I have been using my voice more often, and it's like it has unlocked so many stages of myself. Like I've learned and evolved. That's what it is. I've not only learned myself, but I've evolved within myself,
Mhm. Mhm.
to where, well, you know, this is the Keep Expecting Miracles podcast. I do believe that this uterine prolapse will reverse itself and
Mhm.
that it is on its way back up into place
Yes,
to where it needs to be.
it is. It is. With
With
you
this.
with you saying that, I wanted to share a quick excerpt from The Art and Practice of Spiritual Herbalism, by Empress Karen Rose. If you can go buy this book on Amazon or from her website, Sacred Vibes Apothecary. A beautiful, amazing book. She says, each breath is a prayer and creates new opportunity to express ourselves, trusting in the power of our expression to transform our lives. A decisive voice is a messenger that clears the way for our growth and development.
Mm,
Open communication, which includes deep listening, can remove any obstacles we might encounter on this path. So it's speaks to what exactly everything that you were just saying. Like when you find your voice and when you use it, you do unlock other things in your life. You do discover new pathways and, opportunities for growth, healing for yourself, for your family. It is one of the main things that, as a therapist, when somebody comes into therapy and they're having a specific issue, with somebody maybe that has passed away, like a parent, or somebody that they feel like they have unfinished business with, or say if it's a parent that you felt like you weren't treated right, or you just had unfinished business, writing a letter and speaking it. We An exercise is writing a letter to that person and reading the letter out loud, like you're speaking to that person, is a healing practice.
wow.
Showing, expressing, you just expressing it allows for healing to happen.
Wow.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, I want to, you're talking about healing. I want to express here because I think that it should be known. Some people may ask, well, how did you even go about finding your voice? What happened? Like, how did you take that first step? Because I'm sure there may be a lot of our listeners, because we attract those that who are like like attracts like.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and I will say that it was heartbreak. and betrayal that unlocked my voice, where I realized,
Mm.
had this happen, where'd we go from here? Like, how, I had to do a lot of self questioning, had
Mm.
to like find out a lot about myself in order to pull myself up and be
Mm.
able to move on with my life. Um, and so with that, I feel like I would love for that to not be the catalyst for change for someone, because you don't want to have to go through something that is sudden and just like knocks you off your feet in order for you to make a positive change for your life.
Mm.
However, those things do happen when you're not listening to yourself.
Mm.
So if you are listening to this and this is your now, you can start the change from now. You can
Mm.
start the change from now. Something I completely believe in herbal medicine. And when we get to our I've got an herb for that segment, we're going to talk about a plant that is going to be beautiful, that can be used to help unlock the voice and just help you get to know yourself.
Mhm.
But I had to share what the
Yeah.
catalyst was. And that also, it was involuntary. Listen, like I truly
Mm.
believe, like, if that, as terrible and how as horrible as things have felt for me since the moment that took place to unlock this voice, I think it
Mm.
literally happened to change my life, to
Wow.
keep me here.
Wow.
Like if I sure I would have been gone. Like there was not, like
Mm.
that's how low my I was vibrating. I was
Mm.
not operating in a high vibration at all. Everything that I
Mhm.
was doing was so low level and just so like self-defeating. Like
Mm.
everything was just not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ooh, that was a lot. I have chills. Thank you so much for sharing that and being open. I know as your friend, not only as a podcast host, but I know as your close friend, what you're talking about and just being open about what you have been going through is big. And it's healing just speaking about it and sharing that
Hmm.
on this show. So thank you, and I'm very honored to be a witness in that. And um it's something that says something about your healing and the effectiveness of the things that you are doing, the self-care that you're giving, how you're nourishing yourself now, that you're even able to see it in that way.
Mm, okay. Thank you.
That is a reframe. You have to know that you're coming out on the other side of it, because when something happens to you, it's very easy you stay in a long time like, why does this happen to me? Why did
Yeah.
this happen to me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? So for you to be on the other side of it and say, you know what? If this did not happen to me, I would still be in the same place. If this
Mm,
did not happen to me, I wouldn't be living like this, and this, and this. I wouldn't have this opportunity. I wouldn't be healing my family. I would, like, you can see all of the positive now.
yeah. It's true. I can. Hmm. I sure can.
That makes me so happy to hear. I feel like, oh my gosh, so good. I mean, because I mean, that's the difference between holding on to bitterness,
Yeah.
anger, revenge. Like
Hmm.
that is the opposite of what you're feeling.
Yeah. That for sure. 100%.
Yeah, it's being able to look back at situations in your life and say, you know what? Thank you, God.
And it's only through practicing the voice, practicing and just being able to release things
Mhm.
verbally,
Mhm.
even musically often,
Mhm.
but being able to say these things and not worry about how other people will take it. How is it going
Mm.
to be looked at for me to say something in this way? You
Yes.
know, and it's, the more you practice it, the more you get your voice out there, the more you start, saying what you have to say,
Mhm.
the easier it gets, easier it gets, easier it gets.
You're
Every
absolutely right.
single moment.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
It really does. For me, I think I spoke about it on the last voice episode. Is one thing that helped me find my voice was going to therapy. and just speaking myself, because I am a deep listener, obviously. I would have had the profession
Yes.
that I had, but you know, and I think just healing my womb too later on in life. Now, I mean later on in life now, within the last couple of years,
Mhm.
is healing my womb has helped me find a deeper voice, and
Mhm.
to know that my voice has an impact on the people that are around me and the people that live in my house. My tone, my
Definitely.
the way in which I say things and I speak, it does affect it affects the mood and the frequency of the house. And um
Mhm.
one of the new practices that I've started since we've been researching the voice and the power of the voice is, in the morning time, me and the kids will just be in the bed and we just start making sounds. I mean, that's what kids, I have 1 and 3, so that's what they do anyway. So I
Uh-huh.
started to do it with them, and it can be a loud roar, it can be a scream,
Aw.
it can be like a, like a, like a release. You know how we,
Mhm.
like a lion's breath release, and the kids will just
Mhm.
crack up and then they'll just do the same thing. Like we'll just do it one by
Aw.
one, and it's good to just release. And
It
so,
is. It is. We did that actually. So yesterday, thanks to a wonderful friend of mine, we got to the chance to go to Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure.
mm,
And so the kids, we went on the Transformers ride, right?
uh-huh.
And this was after it had rained. So apparently in Florida, people are afraid of the rain. So everything gets completely clear. So we walk into the we get to the spot. It was a walk on ride. We didn't have to wait in no line. And I looked around, I'm like, oh shoot, there's no other ride, like no other cars with people around us in the ride. So I start screaming. I'm like, this is a good time to start releasing some voice.
Mhm.
So I start screaming. It's not a scary ride. Transformers is not scary at all, but it's loud and it's fun. So
Mhm.
I start screaming. Then next thing you know, my 16-year-old, he starts screaming. So like that,
Mm.
like a little girl. And then of
Yeah,
course, my 9-year-old
she
Justice,
got to
she
blow it
starts,
all the way out.
girl. And he kept telling, he's like, do it again, do it again, do it again. She's like, now it's your turn, you do it again. So we're just
Mhm.
in there screaming. And I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Like there's no other time that we can't just be walking down the street, like
Right.
making crazy noises,
Right. Right.
So it was nice to just have that container where
Yes.
they can like be free,
Yes. Well, they're not
have the
about to have
freedom. They
asthma
still,
for much longer.
aw, I've, girl,
They're not.
that would make me so happy.
Mhm.
That would make me
Mhm.
so happy.
They're not about to have, because you're allowing them to release.
Mhm,
But it's true.
mhm.
You can't even scream in your house without thinking, "Oh gosh, somebody might call the police because I'm screaming."
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's the thing.
And remember, that was one of the things that we did on the retreat, was just to scream.
Mhm.
We had everybody. We're meditating,
Yes.
and everybody was just screaming. Girl, I'm saying girl like the podcast. Yeah, girl. Like you weren't there, but everybody was releasing and screaming and crying, and it's uncomfortable at first. You're just like, what is going on?
Let me tell you how repressed I was. Do you remember we were right next to each other? I couldn't scream.
Yeah, I know. I
I could not
remember.
let out a scream. I was singing. I'm like,
I know.
literally, I'm trying to scream. I can't. You're like, you have so much anger inside you. Why can't you? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I didn't even feel the anger.
No.
I couldn't even, I was just that like a fossil, like
Mhm.
dirt all over me, that I had to climb out of.
Mhm.
That like just that was my first time being able to just allow myself to be audible like that. That I
Mm.
had to do it in a way I was like, okay, one way that I know how to do this is by just singing loudly. So I would like instead of like roaring or like eyeing, I would just like it'll be like a soprano
Yeah. Yeah.
tone.
Yeah.
And if I had to do it all over again, I sure can scream now because I
Yeah.
sure was screaming on
Well,
the ride.
I do know one place you can scream: in your car,
Hmm.
because other people can't hear you in the car if you're driving, especially on the highway.
Girl, I got a little story about that. There was one time that look, I heard some guy screaming in his car the other day. I turned around, I was like, I was like, let me not look. I was like, I hear you. I was like, yes, go ahead. Like, keep doing that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
That is too
I was so happy
funny.
for him.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh, that is
I'm sure he
hilarious.
was pissed though. Like he was angry.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you. I mean, that's why
uh huh.
people be going around punching walls and stuff because they can't scream. Well, they just be like,
Because they can't scream. Mm-hmm.
you
We use
have
that
to be
voice
able to
power.
scream. Mm-hmm.
Use that voice power. There was one
Mm-hmm.
time I was in my car. I was so mad. I was livid. And I screamed in the car, right? This is after coming back from Costa Rica. I was in my car and I screamed. And then something happened with the power in my car. I was like, oh,
I
what
remember
was
that. Is that the time that is that the? I remember that. Okay.
I was
Hmm.
like, did I could is it possible
It is
that
possible.
my voice has this energy that I almost short circuited my car?
Yes, that's how people are able to break glass.
What we're learning now, yes.
That's
Yes.
exactly yes. You
It's
that is
crazy.
possible. It is. We have
Crazy.
power. There is power in the sounds that we make.
Whew.
There is power
There's
in the sound
power in the name of Jesus because your voice is saying it.
because your voice is saying it. Hello.
Mhm.
Thank
I
you
just
for
want to let people know on the video also. I'm drinking something brown. I'm drinking tea. So, I'm like I realize I keep sipping like I'm drinking liquor.
yeah, with the clear
Gi-
glass. It looks
Ginger
weird.
and I know ginger and cinnamon tea for those of you
Ooh,
on YouTube.
yummy.
By
That's
the way,
warming.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah, that's funny that you said that too.
Anyway,
And I noticed a difference. This is gonna be a transparent, another transparent, like my between my two labor experiences.
hmm
When I had Alina, I was very controlled,
mm.
and I didn't even scream. Didn't make a sound.
What?
They didn't even know I was having a baby in there.
Wow.
With baby Donnie, you could probably hear me down the street. I was so loud, and it was deep, like a
hmm
like that. Like it was loud.
No epidural, y'all.
I yeah,
That's what he
birthed
said.
both of my children with no epidural naturally.
hmm hmm
Yes, I mean I probably should have been screaming with Alina too, but I wasn't.
hmm
But it was
hmm
I was a little bit more controlled. But it was two totally different situations. I had
Yeah,
a lot of grief. I had just lost my grandma. I probably released a lot of stuff.
you sure did. You know it. You know it.
Yeah, so I just noticed that difference with my voice. I had to. I had to. It was like I had to let this out. Like the pain had to come out of me. It
Yeah.
was whew, yeah, just thinking about it. I just thought about
Yeah.
that.
The voice is energy. That's the voice is energy. When you hold it back, that is energy suppression. And what
Mhm.
happens when you suppress energy is it's going to combust in some way. It has to be
Some way,
released. It's going to
some
be
way.
there and cause something to happen
It's
anyway.
in it with different, depending on your genetics, depending on your if you're male or female, it's going to show up. It may show up as uterine fibroids. It may show up as
Mm,
breast cancer. Your
mm,
lungs, they're very close to your breasts. It can
mhm,
show up in your prostate health for men.
mhm,
It can show up as throat cancer.
mhm.
There's so many different areas of the body that it can show up in, and emotional spiritual health is extremely connected to physical health. We're learning that even more in deeper ways now that we're going into this.
100%.
Yeah.
And my most recent, um, one thing that I recently read is that when one energy point in the body, which you can also call a chakra, when one energy point of the body is suppressed, every energy point in the body below that is also suppressed. So we're
Mm.
talking about the voice, the throat chakra. So if my voice is suppressed, then so is my heart. Am I able to receive? No. So is my
No.
sacral. Is my intuition working efficiently? Probably not.
No.
Like
Yeah.
then my
Exactly.
root, then just
Yes.
everything
Yeah.
then is
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Remove the cap and keep it off, y'all.
Yes. 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 We're going to move on now to our next segment of I Said What I Said, our special manifestation segment where we share manifestation success stories or what we want to manifest. And today I am sharing a personal manifestation story for the first
Yay.
time. And I thought about sharing this particular story because recently I've always had the conflict of working in the medical system, but I felt so strongly called to it when I first started being wanting to be a nurse. Um I'm just now what I'm learning about myself right now is that I've I have I am supposed to be my chat GPT said I was always supposed to be in the middle of medical and mysticism. Yes. It has said like I was
Okay.
always supposed to be in like the bridge in between the two.
Well, that is a confirmation right there.
Yes. So I wanted to
Mm.
share how I manifested a full paid scholarship to nursing school with a monthly stipend. I got paid to do it. Um, I applied to Nurse Corps. It's a government scholarship that you apply to, and you just agree to work at an underserved hospital, which is basically all the hospitals now. Um, and you get a full scholarship, and then they pay you monthly.
Mm.
So when I started, when I always so the beginning, when I went back to school, first of all I was working as a therapist. I had to get a master's degree. That I went to a private school, so I have a lot of loans from that. And so I said if I ever went back to school, it would be for free. I had said that like I'm not you have to pay me to go back to school. I would say that. Like I would have to be paid to go back
Mm.
cuz I'm not going back to school. I'm not getting loans. But okay, why is there a calling on my life to go to nursing school? Why do I want to be a midwife? How is it going to happen? And so I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like and I'm always somebody who preaches like if you want to do something there's always a way. There's always a way to do it. There don't limit yourself, especially when it comes to money. Don't limit what you want to do or what you feel God has placed on your life because of money. And so I had to listen to myself. So I started researching scholarships for nurses, scholarships for this. And so I came upon the Nurse Corps program, and the program you had to be accepted into a nursing program already. You had to have letters of recommendation. They the criteria, not the criteria, but they only give the scholarship to like I don't know, 100 people around the
Oh,
United
wow.
States a year.
Wow. That's crazy.
If yeah, it's in that range. I can't remember exactly. And so basically I was trying to get the impossible. I had to
Yeah.
quit my full-time job as a therapist. I had to become a tech at the hospital and work as a patient care tech part-time, PRN, not even part-time. And so I needed money. My husband was in medical school. And so I was
Mhm.
basically asking for the impossible. Um, I started school and I had asked for a recommendation letter from my counselor at the time, and I can't remember his name, but I could just hear his voice clear as day. Like he said, as in the 13 years that he had been a counselor, he had known only two people from the state of Indiana that had. Oh, he had only known one person from the state of Indiana that had applied to that scholarship and received it. But he was just like,
Wow.
yeah, he said, but I'll write you the letter. Like he was saying it like, girl, I'm gonna give you this letter, but you
But
know, you're probably not gonna get it because they don't give that scholarship away. And
wow.
I told him my response is, well, I'm gonna be the number two person.
And that is how you keep the manifestation going.
Yes, it was like I knew it. So I had started school. So the main obstacle was is you have to already be in the program. So meaning like you have to already be accepted into nursing school, meaning you have to have money to get into school. So I had to apply for loans to start
Okay.
school. The loans were distributed, and I had to have the faith. The program started in the spring. The scholarship would not have been determined or awarded until the fall.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm in school, starting school, like I'm gonna get the scholarship. It's coming. It's coming. It's
Mm-hmm.
coming. It's coming. It's coming. I get to October or September, and I get the email that I was awarded.
Aw, yay.
When I tell you, I called him, I praise dance, called everybody. It was like, I got this scholarship, I got this scholarship, I got this scholarship. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh. I knew it. Like, I felt it. I knew it. I had to speak it out. People were trying to, like, well, what if you don't get it? I'm getting it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
feel it. I'm getting it. And it was to the point where it was so crazy because I had to, so you can't have double money. So the loans were refunded back to the loan company and my scholarship money took over. So it was just like, oh nope, she doesn't need, I didn't even know that was possible.
Girl, because I didn't know that was possible either. I don't think that that is ever said, but they probably had to figure something out. Like, well, what do we do now?
Yes, it was a
And
whole
see, it's
thing.
you sticking to what you knew that you needed and what you knew was possible for you. Nobody can take that away from you.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I it was it felt like I was doing magic
Mhm.
because I wasn't in school. I had to have people that wrote recommendation letters for me. Like, I had to, write essays about what I was going to do as a like it was just when you put all the pieces together when you're doing something, you're just like, I don't know how this is going to happen. I'm just making it happen.
Yes. Mhm.
So that manifestation story is a part of my journey. That is how you know that you are on the right track. When you're
Mhm.
doing what you're supposed to be doing, when gates open, when things happen that are literally miracles. It was a miracle because I didn't have to take out loans for nursing school. They paid me. I was able to work PRN. Um, I think I was paid $1,300 a month to go to school with,
Wow.
tuition fully. Like, it's crazy.
That's yes, girl. That's you were meant to be here. Like they needed you.
Yes, at the corner of medical and mysticism, I am
Uh-huh.
here. I am here.
Uh-huh.
I am here.
Mhm.
So I am very
Such
grateful
a
and
beautiful
thankful.
story.
If you are looking to do something, it doesn't even have to be nursing, but if money is an obstacle, I think my belief comes from different things that I've been exposed to, but I remember sitting in a seminar one time about money and making money, and the person said, like, there's always a way,
Mm, mm,
and there's always a way with other people's money.
mm. There's that.
So I had that in the back of my mind too. But yeah, I'm so happy I was
Yes.
able to share that.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. The story is a blessing, okay? A blessing that anything is possible. And even when it looks like you still have to press on and the thing that you want to come forward has not come yet.
Hmm.
And there are naysayers and people saying, oh, but what if? Oh, but that doesn't just happen for anybody. It can still happen for you. It's like,
Hmm. My
because
counselor was in awe. He couldn't believe it. He was like, "Wow!"
really?
And the crazy thing
Mhm.
is, I had another person that was in that program that was a year ahead of me. She was had received a scholarship too. So it was like both of us. It was another black girl.
Wow. Wow.
Yes,
Look
it
at
was another
that.
black girl. We had both received it, and he couldn't believe
Hmm.
that we literally had called that in and made it happen.
He probably needed to see that miracle too.
Hmm.
He needed to see that for some reason and be a part of it.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
I'm sorry, as a former teacher, I'm not going to go and tell my student who's asking for something, well, you probably won't get it.
I
Like,
know,
like even like no matter what, no, I'm not going to do that. Why would I interfere with your blessing?
right?
Like, putting that energy out there, but I'm so glad his energy was weak and yours was stronger.
Yes. Well, I mean, he still used his time and energy. Thank you
Mhm.
for. I wish I remembered his name. Thank you for
That
writing me
part.
that letter. But I mean, and that's you have to. He was he. I didn't take it like obviously that was a negative comment, but I was so strong in what I felt. I didn't take it in a negative way. And when he said that, like we both laughed. Like, yep, I'm gonna be the second one. So
Mhm.
get
But see, it's
ready.
because your attitude was already like that as
Mm-hmm.
such. Like,
Mm-hmm.
then what he said couldn't even it couldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
I love
yeah.
that. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, now we move on to our herbal segment. I've got a nerve for that.
I've got a nerve for that.
Yes. And we're talking about Elecampane.
Yes. This is a herb that's new to me. Um
Mm-hmm.
I have not yet experienced it, but we are learning and growing and expanding.
Mm-hmm.
The Latin name is Inula helenium. Inula helenium. It's also called horseheel, yellow starwort, scabwort, elf dock. Um, it's herb of the sun. I'm reading from the art and practice of spiritual herbalism by Karen and Rose. It is the planet. It's a herb of the sun and Mercury. Air is the element. And we thought it would be fitting just because of the spiritual properties of what we're talking about today. It is an herb for the respiratory system, but I'm going to read briefly something that we learned recently about it. It says Elecampane provide. This is in the spirit of grief and as it pertains to your voice. It says Elecampane provides shelter, expression, and comfort in times of profound grief. It says that this plant flourished in a box outside of the apothecary. The leaves were large and it was flowering. It looked like the princess of the plants on the block. We noticed two pigeons near the plant. They stayed there together for a week, and one day they were gone. That evening, I was pointing out to my associate how beautiful this plant was. I looked under the leaf and one pigeon was dead there. We recognized that the pigeon chose to die under the leaf of Elecampane, and the other pigeon stood in by visual, offering comfort and companionship. So these birds instinctively knew Elecampane's power. So use Elecampane's medicine to heal the loss of displacement, migration for those migration for those grieving their home and homeland's loss. It is a beautiful medicine for connecting with unexpressed sadness. It supports healing from generational trauma by bringing grief to the surface. So it's a herb that you can use exactly what we're talking about. We were talking about ancestral trauma and expressing grief, discovering grief, bringing grief, breathing the ancestry trauma to the surface. This is an herb that specifically brings it up and out and heals that. So I can't wait. I'm like I can't wait to experience it. I can't wait to experience it and try it and see what
Uh-huh.
healing because I want the healing to happen.
Yes, yes, yes. And I know that with your therapy background, when we're thinking about the wheel of emotions, which I don't have in front of me right now, is sadness or grief underneath anger? Are they related in any way?
Yes. And yes, anger is a part of grief. It's one of the stages of grief.
Okay.
It's not necessarily on the wheel of emotions, but you have to think of anger as an emotion that is kind of like an umbrella. It's at the top. It's
Right.
at the top level, and then there's emotions under that. So it can be an umbrella. Anger can come through for betrayal, or but anger is on the continuum of grief. We know grief is not linear, but it's on a
Hmm.
continuum, and it's one of the stages of grief that you do have to process and work through.
Okay. And I
Yeah.
asked that because um, I know for some people, they may be thinking, well, I don't have anything to be sad about. I'm not grieving anything.
Mhm.
And then may realize they may be feeling anger on the forefront, like, oh, I don't struggle with that. I struggle with anger. Like, give me a plan for that.
Mhm.
But then it's like, well, Elecampane is going to help raise
Expose
up.
it. Mhm.
Yes.
Bring it up.
It's going to help bring it out of you.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I mean,
and
and
don't be
that's
afraid. People can't be afraid.
no, you can't,
Just let it release.
because a fear is also a part of that too. And not having a voice is, fear is real,
Hmm.
and it
Yeah.
controls people's voices.
Yes.
That is why people don't expose certain family secrets or things that happened to them when they were younger, and
Hmm.
that's how you become silenced. Is a
Right.
fear of what may happen.
Right.
Um, so that is real. It's very real.
Yes. Well, now we move on to witchy shit.
Yes.
Yes. And today we're talking about using words as spells.
You mean
So,
spelling?
exactly.
You caught that, people?
Hmm.
Spelling, a subject in school, learning how to
Hmm.
spell words. That's where it comes from.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
It in particular, when you talk about the etymology of words and what they mean, like the Latin words or the Sanskrit meaning of a word, you do realize that words carry a certain vibration. They carry a certain tone. And depending on the word or the tone, that you're calling in a specific, attribute, energy to your atmosphere, to your field.
Yep.
And it's good to, even when you're sitting in church, the pastor will break down, the meanings of words and what that means, on a, either in Latin or Hebrew. They'll break down Hebrew words all the time, and that is why they have to break it down, is because certain sounds have vibrations connected to them.
Right.
um and so yeah, that's one of the things that you learn when you meditate and you hum or you make certain sounds, like those are actual vibrations that bring healing to you.
As you said, the etymology of it, breaking
Mhm.
it down.
Mhm.
Um, it's so crazy because I remember learning word parts
Mhm.
in high school. And I'm like,
Mhm.
why I gotta learn these word parts? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
Help me here. Like,
Mhm.
it was just like a whole foreign language to me because it is like, well, here's what this part of the word means in Latin, and here's what this part of the word means here. But after doing all of the spiritual studies that I have been doing, and just with all of these different teachers and how they break down the
Mhm.
words that we know, I'm like, wait, the one that sticks out for me right now is the word family, right? And the fact that family comes from famine,
Mm.
because we would have to eat as a family, like all together, when there
Mhm.
would be a famine. So everyone
Oh,
would
wow.
collect whatever foods they can find, and then we would have it all together so that we can distribute the foods
Wow.
equally.
Wow.
And so, this teacher said that it was funny that we still call a family. Like, we still stuck to that
We
word
still stuck to it.
because it's because of it really meaning famine. And I'm like, well, should we even be using that word then? I'm like, is there another word we could use? um, but of course, it depends on the emotions that you have behind it, um, about using that. But when I think of using words as spelling, or that your words can cast spells, which it can, I think about me, myself, and how I feel when people be giving me compliments and saying good things about me. I'll be like, okay, tell me more. Okay. What else
Yes.
what else you gotta say?
Yes. Yes.
Like, it just makes you
Yes.
feel brighter, and you've even,
Yes.
like, if you tell a child, like, "Oh my gosh, you did that so well. Look at how amazing you're being," you can see that they start to shine,
Yes.
and they hold themselves up a little bit straight, and it's like, "You know what? Thank you." Like, I am doing well. It just makes you feel good.
It makes you feel good. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes. I just tuned in and aligned myself, and I wanted to bring forth a word that was for healing.
Mhm.
Um because we know words are not just for communication, they're for creation. And so this word brings the power of healing, invocation, and grace. And it is a womb spell, and it is Imara.
Oh, that's
Eh?
pretty.
It's Emara. Imara. The sound is the sound of essence, ether, or emergence, or Imara, emergence. Ma, the divine mother, the womb creation. Ra, the sun activation, divine illumination. Imara, I call the essence of the divine mother into light.
Wow.
It is a word to open portals, to activate healing, call in truth, and prepare the voice for channeling. You can whisper it before speaking, singing, or praying. It softens and strengthens the frequency of whatever comes next. Inhale and exhale while softly saying Imara.
Mm.
Imara. Feel what it does to your heart, your throat, your womb.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, I just wanted
I
to
love
share.
that.
I wanted to share that. We
Yes,
might be
thank
adding
you.
another segment to our show, which is the what did we say it was going to be called?
Let's see.
The
There's Miracle Drop,
miracle
or
message,
yes, Miracle Message. There we go.
miracle
Yes.
message moment. So I just wanted to leave the in the
Miracle
episode with
Message.
that.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for listening. Please tune in to us or our next episode. We are going to have some guests coming up soon. We're so excited. And follow us on our social media. And thank you for listening. Bye
Bye.
bye.